Hey there, everyone. We are back today to talk about a game. Today we're talking about Mutant Year Zero, and I don't have it with me because I got it on PC. So, I'm talking about the PC version of Mutant Year Zero. I think there's a subtitle that's something like The Road to Eden, maybe that's what the subtitle is. I don't know. Close enough. You guys will know. Just search for Mutant Year Zero if you really need to know. But Mutant Year Zero. I got this recently, and there was a GOG sale. So good old games. CD Projekt Reds. I know everyone likes. Pretend you're supposed to say Project Red, but the way they actually say it in Poland is Projekt, because that's how you'd pronounce it. Anyway, I just like to say it that way. So yeah, GOG. I got it on a GOG sale. Totally unrelated to the game. But the game itself, I got it because it was kind of touted as, this kind of post-apocalyptic mutant thing with kind of XCOM style battles, like a tactical squad-based battles, and it has like a stealth mechanic also. And I thought, I like all of those things, so I'm gonna like this game. And I got it, and I played through the whole thing. So I've beaten the game. I want to say it took me, okay. I don't know how long it took me because my time on GOG says it took me 60 hours, but there's no way it took me 60 hours. It's not even possible. So I think like I left it on in GOG and like went to sleep or something and came back. Like I just put the computer to sleep and didn't turn the game off. It's my only guess is why it took so long, because there's no way I played it for 60 hours. But yeah, I played through it, and it's pretty good. But not perfect. So like first first off, like because it's touted as kind of like not Xbox, XCOM, it's not. It's really not. So like if you bought this because you thought like I want a game like XCOM, you're gonna be a little bit disappointed, because the tactics of the game aren't up to the same level as XCOM. And that's not to say it's bad, because I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed playing it. I enjoyed it for what it was. But the maps are too small for it to be like XCOM. They're not instances. So like when you play XCOM, you have a stage basically. There's like a way to clear the entire stage. This game is not that. So like you have instances, but they're like actually areas on the map. So like you have to go through these areas and find items and search for things, but also you'll come across enemies, and so the battles can be bigger or smaller depending on what you do and what angles you come in from and how you handle them. So it's not like XCOM. It even the way the battles work, I feel, are not like XCOM. It's like they're like XCOM in the sense that like you have a squad and it's turn based, and but it's not close enough to XCOM for them to be saying like it's like XCOM. It's not. But it's still good. So let me talk about the battles. So you, like I said, they're squad based, and you have let me try to remember. You have a group of three, but I think you have a total of 5 mutants that you can choose from. So you start with three, and then you can find 2 other mutants later in the game. And they all have different. Okay, they kind of all have different powers. So like the first three have wildly different powers, but then the next two you get, so they have somewhat different powers, and then some that are like swapped over from other ones. So they're not like 5 completely different characters, but they're 5 like mostly different characters. So like there's overlap between all of them. And it's helpful because like once you get further in the game, you have like higher levels and different types of battles you get into, you'll want to actually customize the squad when you see a battle. So like the squads can be kind of customized on the fly because you're just walking through the wasteland and presumably all five are there, but you can only use three in a battle. So what you're doing is you're taking, you'll use the stealth mechanics. I'll talk about the stealth after this, but like to kind of scout out the area to see like, okay, there's this many guys. What kinds of guys are there? What types of units are they? And how should I best tackle it? So that's not like, again, it's a cool thing. I actually quite enjoyed that part of it, but like it, again, it's not like XCOM. So, you'll walk through areas, and when you get to a battle, you have the option to sneak into battle and get like first round, or you can just like run up and have the enemy see you and they'll get first round. So like, it's always beneficial to sneak into a battle. The battles themselves, the game kind of suffers from like a kind of a lack of variety for weapons. There's not that many weapons in the game. There's a few types of grenades. So you'll have like a regular grenade, a smoke grenade, a kind of light grenade that just makes it easier to hit people. And then you have like an EMP grenade for mechanical units. So you have four types of grenades, but like the types of guns you can get, like you've kind of got sniper, you've got like silent weapons for stealth kills, you've got shotgun types of weapons, and you'll get like some heavier kind of like beam weapons. I guess plasma weapons, they're not really beams. But what happens with the game is that like, you find items and weapons throughout the game, but and you can upgrade them also as you go. So you use scrap and weapon parts that you find throughout the wasteland area to get upgrades for your items. But you'll find that like almost any weapon in the game is kind of viable throughout almost the entire game. So, for example, like one of the initial mutants you start with is like a duck. His name's Dux. He has a crossbow that he starts out with, and I basically used it for the entire game. Like it's as a silent weapon. It's probably the best silent weapon in the game. You get it right off. You just upgrade it, and it's good. But then, there's like later in the game, once you get later in the game, there's like weapons that do heavy damage that you want to use that are better than the initial weapons, but even not by a ton, by like 1 or 2 points of damage, which usually matters. But like, it gets to a point eventually where it's just like, it totally wouldn't. It's like you have so many skills where you can stun people that like knock people over or stun them or whatever. And it just, even if you have like just pea shooters, you could eventually win because you could just knock them over and keep shooting them while they're on the ground. So, or stun them with a grenade or something. It like, there's lots of ways to do things. So, it's it doesn't feel as kind of varied as you'd expect. Like you just I don't know. I went into it expecting more weapons, so I'd go into like you'd find like chests with items, and it's like armor and weapons, but like, there was a point where I like beat like guys that were 20 levels higher than me or whatever, and they were protecting a chest, and I was like, oh yes, it's going to be something awesome because like these guys are way higher level, like they must be blocking something awesome. I'm not even supposed to be doing this battle now, but I did it, and I went over and like opened the chest, and it was like a weapon that I already had. So I was like, oh well, that's lame. So that kind of felt off, and also like the armor has the same kind of problems. It's not that I don't think any of the stuff that they have is bad. It's just that like it's really not varied enough. And I guess like I mean, it's 5 specific characters, so like they don't like offer you a ton of items that you can like customize. Basically, you have like a few options, and you might even want to swap out the armors and stuff you're wearing depending on the battle you're going to take. So like, depending on what you have, like you might want to, okay, there's a lot of dudes who are going to be throwing fire bombs at me, so I want to, did I mention the fire bombs and the grenades? Maybe I didn't. That's an extra one, so there's 5 types. But you know there's certain armors that will protect against explosions or protect against fire, so like you might want to switch to that during the battle. But again, there's only like one type of each of those things, so like you're just kind of switching between types instead of like, except for like later in the game you'll get like, again, like right towards the end you'll get some you know more protective armors that have like basically the same type of skill but like just more protection, more health bonus. So that's kind of like a letdown. I know there's DLC coming, so maybe they'll add more weapons and more armors and things like that for higher customization. It's kind of a speaking of the customization, you have each character has a mutant skill tree that you can go through and upgrade their abilities. So you'll have some characters that are more focused on kind of being tanky, so like they'll be meant to be like to take damage or knock people over, just kind of be like a kind of a tank overall. And then you'll have like a sniper, and you'll have like someone who's really good for the mobility. Then you have like another one who's more focused on fighting mechanical enemies, and then someone who is kind of a psychic who can throw lightning and control people's minds. So he's more of like a anti, I guess, living creatures type of enemy. So there's definitely uses for all of them. I didn't. There's like one character I didn't really use all that much. And it's like there's like a grenade focused character. I like never use that character. After like you initially get her, and then like after you get another person after her, you're just like, I'm never using her again. And I never used her again. I just switch between like the two main characters, the duck and the boar, and then like swapped out either the fox who is good, who can kill mechanical creatures, or like the other mutant guy. I don't know what he's supposed to be a mutant part of, but like he has the psychic powers. So like depending on if I was fighting mechanical items or mechanical creatures or not, I would just swap out the third one and keep the initial two. So, you know, like there's a bit of strategy with that, but like it's not like incredibly strategic. Like it's not like a complete strategy game in that sense. There's more of a role playing element to it. There are levels to the characters. They do level up, and you get points to unlock skills. But like the levels don't do much. Which I was saying earlier, I beat a characters who are like 20 levels higher than me. Like the levels, there's no stats to affect their levels. So like their levels in the game, when you running across like a level 55 creatures, you'll run across them really early in the game where it's teaching you how to sneak, because like if you fight that, they're like, if you fight these characters you will die. But the thing with it is that like once you have relatively good damage dealing at like a certain level, you'll be able to punch way up in level, because the level, there's no stats. Like it doesn't affect the way your ability to hit, doesn't affect your ability to dodge, it doesn't affect anything except for like the skills you have from on the skill tree. So the leveling itself, while it's there, it just feels like they could have taken it out entirely and just gave you skill points or something. Like after a certain number of kills you get skill points, and it's like the same. I mean, it's basically leveling is just a way to hand out skill points. That's about it. So like there was a point where like I'm like low level, but I had armor that prevents you from being knocked down, and like there's dog enemies that basically all their attack is they'll run and knock you down. So like they bite you obviously, but like the armor that prevented you from being knocked down would like prevent them from damaging you. So like the dogs would come, and you could just like send one dude up there next, just stand in the middle of the dogs, and they'll just surround them and attack and do no damage, while your other guys just pick them off, even if they're like so many levels higher than you. It's the kind of thing where like, that armor that prevents you from being knocked down is super handy, because there's other creature like enemies in the game who will just knock you down. They just run into you, but they'll fall over if you have that armor on. So like it's pretty handy. That's the most handy armor, I thought. But oh yeah, okay. So another main part of the game is the sneaking mechanics, which is cool because the sneaking works. It works like they basically the enemies have a circle around them. That's their ability to sense you, and you have a flashlight which you can move faster. You can turn off the flashlight and kind of creep. So like if you have the flashlight on, their circles grow really big, and if you it's off, it's much smaller, and you can sneak around. And what happens is if you can get people who like enemies on patrol, sometimes they'll be in a group, but one or two will walk off and start doing some stuff that's like a little off from the other enemies, or they'll have a conversation and then like they'll split apart or something. If you can kind of walk around and wait for that stuff, you'll get the ability to kind of pick them off silently. And like silently is what matters here, because like obviously if someone is like slightly away from the group and you shoot them with a shotgun, the enemies will hear you and then you've got a battle on your hands. But if you use silent weapons, there's like a pistol that's a silent pistol, and the crossbow, and a kind of needle gun that you get that are all the silent weapons. You can upgrade those, and they'll usually do enough damage to take out weaker enemies like silently before you even the other enemies will notice. So you'll be able to take out groups, and it's very important for large parts of the games to use the stealth to either sneak by enemies and come back later, sneak in and steal things, sneak in and save new group members. There's like one group member you can just avoid the battle entirely, just sneak in and talk to her and then walk out. It's very handy to it's almost, I'd say it's like almost 100% necessary to get pick off enemies using the stealth than it is to just run into a battle and start blowing people away, because the game itself, like, it's not easy in the sense that like you're not bullet sponges. Basically the enemies will kill you really quickly if you just run into a group of them. They do a lot of damage, and you don't have good armor basically through the entire game. And towards the end of the game, like when you get to the bigger things, they'll just all like, it's like one or two shots will basically kill you every time, even at full health. So you have to actually be pretty tactical with the way you fight, in the sense that you have to scout the areas mostly and then snipe as many people as you can by themselves, or take them off in small groups of one or two before you engage an entire big group. And when you have to fight a big group, it's like a big deal. One thing I'm going to talk about the game that makes it different is that like your guys like hardly heal. So if you're at full health and you get knocked down to like half health in the battle, it doesn't heal past half. So if you get knocked out in battle and then you win afterwards, the other members clear the enemies, everyone will heal up to half health, but you'll never heal above that without medicine packs. And the medicine packs are finite, so like you can find them all over the place, and you can buy them at the store. Once you leveled up, they'll get more in stock, but they're finite, so you can't use them like all the time. And I was like really sparse using mine, so like by the end of the game I had like 16, and I and I thought like, oh, I'm at the end, I guess I didn't need to save these as much as I did. But like I spent a lot of the game just like going into every battle with half health, only because like I didn't want to waste the packs before I got to a point where I really needed them. So it's important to be a bit thrifty with your use of items. Like grenades are the same way. Certain types, amp grenades especially, are super useful, especially towards the end. You don't want to use those like if you don't need to, because like there's like right towards the end of the game, if you have amp grenades, it's basically like nullifies entire areas. I can beat this entire stage by just rushing in. I can just rush in and throw an amp grenade, and basically every enemy will be knocked out for 3 turns or whatever. So, if you properly save your items, you've basically you've made things a lot easier on yourself when you get towards the end. But So overall, there's kind of a story. It's kind of uh ham-fisted story. I'm gonna say like it's not a well-told story. You're basically mutants, and you're sent out. You live in a place called the Ark, where you live, and you're kind of a bastion of humanity, sort of, where there's kind of evil mutants they called ghouls running around fighting stuff, basically killing people and you know causing havoc. So what happens is like you are sent out to meet up with somebody, and then they get captured by ghouls, and you have to save them, and that's like basically the whole story. But like there's a twist that's kind of like the worst twist ever, because it's like telegraphed from like the first couple hours of the game, where like if you don't know the twist by the end, you're like not paying attention. If you can't guess it like almost immediately, I would be surprised, because like, and I don't want to I don't think the game like goes into it like with an aha moment like at the end, where they're just gonna be like, yeah, we totally got this, like we got you. But I hope they're not thinking that, because like it was not even close. Like after like 2 hours of playing the game, I was like, oh, this is definitely how it's ending, and like totally did. So like, don't go in expecting like a masterpiece of a story, or like anything really spectacular in that end. But because you'll get exactly where it's going and exactly what's going to happen really quickly, and it just like beats you over the head with it for the rest of the game. And as you slowly get towards what you know is going to happen. So, yeah. That's about it, though. I'm trying to think of anything else that I might want to have mentioned for this game. The graphics are all right. They look like you'd expect them to look for this kind of PC game. Like, not great, but not bad. Just lots of reused stuff over and over in each area, but like, so what? Who cares? It's a tactical game. Like, what do you expect? Um, yeah, that's about it. There's not like a ton of stuff to talk about. There's the Ark, which is where you live, and it's kind of a town where you can upgrade weapons, and you can get bonuses for finding old tech. There's kind of like goofy old tech things that you find, and it's funny because the mutants will talk about it when they find it. They have no idea what it is, and it's something stupid, right? They find like an iPod or something, and they're like, it's a fruit detector for apples or whatever, and it's dumb, like. Um, it's that kind of there's a bit of goofy humor to it. There are some kind of like wacky characters that show up that you'll have to fight or not fight. It's interesting though. It's not None of it is bad. So like overall, like it turns out to be a pretty fun game. Like I enjoyed playing it, and I would recommend it if you like kind of tactical games. I was thinking it was going to be like more like Mutant Chronicles. It's not, but like, and if there's a Mutant Chronicles game, I should buy that. But Mutant Year Zero, it gets a pretty good 2 thumbs up. Reluctant 2 thumbs up, I guess. Like, it's good. It could be better, but it was fun and worth playing. So I think it's coming out on consoles and on the Switch soonish. So if you are interested, you can get it there, or you can just get it on PC, where it'll be much cheaper because it's been out for a while. So yeah, that'll do it, and I will catch you guys next time.